Hey guys, my name is Matthew, and in this video we're going to be talking about the dumb decisions that Harry Potter makes in each of the 7 books. Here we go. Couple caveats. First, this is obviously all my opinion. I like the Harry Potter books, and I enjoy Harry Potter as a character, but he does make some pretty dang dumb decisions in the books. Second quick caveat, I just put one example from each of the books, but there are dozens that people can pick from of dumb things that Harry Potter has done. If you want to list some of your favorite dumb things that Harry does in the comments, feel free to do so. We're going to start with the Sorcerer's Stone. Just a quick recap for you. Dumbledore, a super renowned, super smart, powerful wizard, is protecting the Sorcerer's Stone, and he's doing that through a bunch of different magical enchantments, three-headed dog, giant chessboard, this final test that says, hey, if you cared enough to get through all those other tests, then you can't have the Sorcerer's Stone because you clearly want to use it. Harry Potter doesn't trust Dumbledore, doesn't trust authority, doesn't trust any of that. He thinks he has to take it upon himself, a first-year basic wizard who doesn't know anything, to go try and defeat who he now knows is Lord Voldemort, the most powerful wizard of all time. He thinks he's going to go defeat him somehow. He brings his friends with him, his other 11-year-old friends, and decides that he needs to try to go stop this from happening. If he had not gotten super nosy and tricked Hagrid into telling him what was going on, been a terrible friend to Ron and Hermione, snuck out in the middle of the night, and gone to where the Sorcerer's Stone was being held, then what would have happened instead was Quirrell would have been trapped down there with the Sorcerer's Stone. They would have found him, found out he was with Lord Voldemort, and Dumbledore could have taken care of it. Instead, Harry endangers several of his friends. They actually curse Neville, super nosy. They do a bunch of stuff they shouldn't do, disobedient, rebellious, and because of all that, Nicholas Flamel decides that it's time to end his life. He actually causes that to happen. But thankfully, in the rest of the books, Harry learns his lesson and decides, actually, I don't need to be rebellious and disobedient. Like in the second book, The Chamber of Secrets. One of the very first obstacles we meet is they can't get through the platform. There's some sort of barrier at the platform of 9 3/4. And so, of course, what do? The sensible thing, they wait around for an adult to come and help them out, because that's what Harry learned from the first book. Oh wait, no, he actually steals a car and illegally flies it across the country to try to get to Hogwarts. What? How is that a smart move at all? Throughout the rest of the book, because he learned so much about, how authority knows what they're doing, and Dumbledore's really smart, he obviously told him about a bunch of secrets that he was supposed to tell him about. Oh, he didn't actually. By the way, there's a house wolf that tried to kill me, but I'm not going to tell Dumbledore about that. He probably couldn't help with that in any way. I'm hearing a bunch of voices that sound like snakes. They're maybe in the walls. I won't tell him about that either. Oh, also, there's a book. I wrote in it, but it was writing back, and I was able to be sucked into its memories. That's a normal thing, right? I won't tell anyone about that either. If Harry had told anyone about any of those things, the book would have ended much differently, much better. Thankfully, no one actually dies, but that is super weird plot armor because it was a kid's book, right? In real life, Harry Potter probably would have cost people lives. Thankfully, in book 3, Harry learns his lesson, and as soon as he gets a magical map that shows all of the Hogwarts grounds, plus the name of everyone who's traveling on there, he takes it to Dumbledore right away. So that way, Dumbledore could use it to find Sirius or Wormtail. Oh, he doesn't do that. No, actually, he forgot to do that part too, because he still somehow has a super weird issue with authority. But if Harry Potter had done exactly what I just described, book 3 could have ended much, much differently. And Sirius may have been totally free to go, instead of having to live in hiding for the rest of the series. The whole plot of Goblet of Fire is a little bit fishy to me. But if I'm Harry and I'm in Harry's place, I get signed up for this tournament that I'm not supposed to be allowed to participate in, and there's no way my name could have been a part of it. What do? I would say something like, I bet you Voldemort is involved with this in some way, because he has been for the last couple books, and so maybe I just refuse to play. And of course they say, oh, you have to play or whatever. The perfect solution is, hey, I go into each match, each part of the tournament, and I just don't do anything. I purposely lose. The reason that you do that is one, it makes me much more likable by everyone who's around me. 2, I don't need the fame or the money. Obviously, I don't really want to play. I didn't put my name in the goblet. I have no interest in that at all. And so everyone likes me better. It's much safer. And then obviously at the end, I don't get sucked off to another place where Voldemort does like a magic blood ritual and raises back to life, gains his physical body. None of that stuff has to happen. So if it's cool with you guys, I'm just going to go and sit this one out. I'll just lose each match purposely. How's that sound? Yeah. But instead, I'm going to play to my hardest and accidentally win this thing. The Order of the Phoenix is maybe the worst example of Harry being dumb. At the beginning of the book, Sirius gives him a gift and says, hey, if you ever need to talk to me, wink, wink, or like communicate with me in any way for any reason, I'm giving you this. In the gift is a two-way mirror that allows him to talk to Sirius at any time. A great portion of the book is Harry Potter going, I just wish I could talk to Sirius, but there's nothing I can possibly do, so, oh well. It's ridiculous. He's been given a gift with the specific instructions to use it if you need it. Does he never go through his stuff? It's ridiculous. That isn't so bad, but when it comes to an emergency situation where he needs to talk to Sirius because he needs to know what's going on, and even though he doesn't catch on to the fact that Lord Voldemort is tricking him, I just don't understand any of it. Basically, Harry decides, instead of checking out on this mirror that I have that will let me talk to Sirius instantly, instead I'm just going to go to the Ministry of Magic. Super frustrating, dumb Harry. Harry specifically caused the death of his godfather in this book, and it super bothers me. All right, HalfBlood Prince. You think by this point Harry Potter would be like, oh, I get it. Authority is here to help me. They're going to help me. They're actually good, and I should listen to them and stop being so rebellious and disobedient. But he gets this book, and again, not learning from his past at all. It's a book. It sounds like the plot of the Chamber of Secrets all over again. It's this book that has like curses in it and secret information, and all of his friends think he should get rid of it, and his girlfriend thinks he should get rid of it or tell someone about it. At no point does he actually seriously considering doing any of that. He hides the book, he keeps it secret, he's even accused of sleeping with it, and that doesn't bother him at all. Unlike one of my previous examples, this may not be a major plot affecting choice. It was still a super dumb choice to use the book and to not understand it at all. Lastly, in the Deathly Hallows, there's this great scene where Harry and Hermione and Ron have been like camping out in the wilderness, and they're like cold and miserable, and Ron is like, you know, suffering from his splicing accident. And Ron starts asking some like legitimate questions about the plan. Like, hey, what is the plan? And like, hey, Harry, do you think maybe at some point we could, I don't know, like come up with kind of a plan for what we're going to do with the Horcrux we have, or how we're going to get any other Horcruxes like ever? Like any ideas or thoughts on that, Harry? Because I'm just wondering, because we've been like out in the wilderness for a while. And Harry's like, yo, bruv, if you don't like it here, just go home, because no one wants you. Just leave, Ron, because I don't like you, and I don't even need you, because you've been so dumb, or whatever. I think it's super, super dumb that Harry alienates one of his only two friends that is actually helping him in fighting these Horcruxes. And similar to other books, it happens to be that that was a good thing because it, like, you know, the plot had to move forward in the way that it did. But super dumb Harry choice. If I only have two friends and we've been like out in the wilderness for a long time, I'm probably going to try and keep both of them. That's a personal decision. I get that. But, I don't know, Harry. Dumb choices. Okay, now here's my big caveat on all this. I love the Harry Potter books, and I actually think for the most part they're pretty well written. I also think that while Harry made a lot of dumb choices, I don't necessarily think that they're unrealistic. We have to remember that Harry is, he starts this series as an 11-year-old, and even by the end of it, he's still a teenager. Everyone knows that teenagers make dumb choices, and a lot of them. And I think especially given the trauma that Harry has in his life, having grown up with the Dursleys for so much of his life, it makes sense actually that this is the way that he behaves. These dumb choices make so much sense in the context of the life that he lives, especially the lack of trust for authority and the idea of rebellion, which lines up with his age gap along with those traumas. While these choices were all dumb and frustratingly so at times, I think they're surprisingly realistic. And I think we can learn a lot about how to maybe parent better and how to behave better ourselves by learning from Harry Potter and the choices that he makes. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you like this content, feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, stay safe out there.